Hey, welcome to Dave's DIY. I wanted to let you guys know I did notice the subscribers going up. Sure appreciate you guys. So I wanted to show you something. I printed off the silkscreen template, and I'm aware that you guys can only see the top of my head right at the moment, but bear with me for one moment because I wanted to cover what I did in order to do the transfer, but for the silkscreen it works the same for the copper trays. What I'm doing here is I'm lining up the silkscreen with the back, and then I'm literally setting the iron on top and just letting it sit here for just a moment. And then once I've noticed the paper's kind of done stretching and shrinking, I kind of go around it a little bit and try to get all the wrinkles out and make sure everything's lined up where I want it to be, which in this instance, it didn't go as smoothly as the copper traces, but it's the silk screen. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I was also kind of in a rush to add this on because this is recorded after the rest of the video. But yeah, I did want to show you guys the actual method that I did. And once I got everything heated and pressed down, kind of satisfied that everything got properly smooshed onto the board, and it was where I wanted it, what I ended up doing at this point was like, all right, cool, everything's fine, it looks like it's good and hot. Now I'm going to flip the iron over and set the PCB on top of the iron and let gravity do the removal. And because the board is staying hot but the paper is being exposed to the cold air, it'll cool the paper, prevent it from re-sticking. And so here I'm just trying to kind of line it up with the camera so you can see me. I'm not holding the board at all. I'm just lifting the film and letting gravity pull the board down. And here we go. It just, oh, so satisfying. It's like peeling that film off. It's kind of ASMR, isn't it? Visually. And while it did not transfer absolutely perfect, again, this is only a silk screen. It's just for reference purposes because it has some labels on it, you know, and this allows you to kind of see what that circuit on the other side is supposed to do, you know, what it's supposed to look like. And I'm very satisfied with my learning experience. You know, this is totally new for me. I've never done this before. So, you know, this is all brand new, but as you can see, you know, it leaves a nice residue on the paper for reference, and you know, here you go. It looks pretty decent, right? So without further ado, I'm going to get on into how I made the back of this board, and appreciate you guys for subscribing. I sure appreciate you. So without further ado, let's get on to it. I had somebody send me a package. I got to cover up. I got to draw out my address because I don't really want to put that on the internet. Let's see, hold up. Just a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you next. Got to cover it up, you know. I'm not a fan of how much people spend on shipping. Wow, I just now saw that. Anyway, so, all right, important information is covered. Now we can get into it. I got a box. Somebody sent me a package, and I believe what have we here? Oh, look at that. It's an A4 gallium board. Oh, thank you so much. I cannot remember readily whose name that is. I will caption that. You'll see a little, let me put that on the ground. There will be a little caption somewhere right in here as to who sent me this board. If you would like to be credited, you'll note that it says Big Clive on it. This has SMDs, and I'm already looking at it. That is so neat. So I'm not sure what size LEDs go with this board, but I have some here. These are some slow fades that I had in another video, the color RGB slow fade, but these are 10 millimeter, where the ones I used in the Funkadelic Sphere O'Doom, this here apparatus, if you guys remember from the other build, I finally re-glued the battery compartment so I could turn it over and whatnot. So actually I shall set that off, see, kind of here to the side. But this is another project that I would like to do. Is that easier to see? That's easier to see. And it just needs to be populated, and I'm not sure exactly. It looks to me like if I tilt it at the right angle, I might could fit 10 millimeter LEDs in it. That's what I'm wondering. Like, would it fit the bigger LEDs? We shall see. I'm going to drop one in it. Ooh, no, it will not. It's going to need the 5 millimeters, and that is okay. I have much more 5 millimeter LEDs dedicated for this project. These 10 millimeter LEDs are dedicated for the hexaputer, which is done by Evolution, and it's not in yet. It will be, but it is not yet. But anyway, this is Big Clive's supercomputer, the big A4 gallium, and I see there's a couple of power nodes. There's 2 powers and 2 powers. I don't know if that means I can pick one or whether I have to power them both. Oh, there's a third set. 1, 2, 3. It's interesting. I'll power one setup and see if it needs all 3. Anyway, so that's exciting. The reason I actually brought this up had nothing to do with this board, but I got it in the post and I thought I would share that. So I thank you. I actually is not a viewer, it's somebody in Discord, and they might have seen my channel, to be honest with you. I really don't know. I don't know who all has seen my channel, but what I'm actually sharing with you is something that I worked on, and you can see it, so I'm gonna cover it up, but so I'm gonna flip this stack this way, and I'm gonna show you kind of, I'm not gonna hide anything, so let me go on and grab this as well. This is off to the side. So what we have is, I was trying to learn how to etch my own PCB at home, and it's backwards, but if you flip this over to the blank side and shine a light through it, you will see it says Dave's DIY version 1. Well, there's supposed to be 20 LEDs and there's only one chip here, so I had to totally redo that. And so if you will cue the second attempt, which is this was the second attempt at making my PCB. Now, the problems that I found in this one, I didn't discover right away, but that was just the second attempt, and I put it on here, and as you can see, I did do the transfer, but everywhere you see these light spots is where it failed and didn't adhere. I shall share some pictures somewhere to go with this, but it didn't stick, which is fine because I wasn't wasting my circuit board. I could just wipe it off and try again. So I did. I wiped it off. I tried it again, and this time it was really, it still was, you know, it had a lot of light spots all over the place. And let me put a white sheet of paper behind it. I believe that's what I had that for. Yes, it was. And I did that because the ground trace, all right, for an example here, let me focus my ring. There it goes. If you will see, there is no connection. Well, the problem is this is just an island that is there strictly to save on etching, but it is also part of the ground plane, which I didn't connect by mistake, and these were not big enough. These two here in the middle. These were not big enough. And, you know, of course, the ground terminals, I just wasn't satisfied. So then I tried again with the connected trace. If you'll see here that I did go back and connect that trace, I thickened the lines up. But if you look at an angle, you'll see dark spots. All of these dark spots, this dark spot, you know, these traces up here, specifically this area, smudged really bad. Let me see, maybe if I flip it over, it's a little easier to see. It smudged really bad. It just, overall, I wasn't satisfied, was not ready to etch that. So then I tried again. This time, it just, I don't know. I kept running into the same issues in the same spots. All right, so that was with this board. And I'm going to show you, this is the very last attempt with this template. If you'll note, you know, the template has copper all the way up to the top. So that was the last attempt there. And this one was, it was crooked. I didn't care for that. It was smudged really bad up here in this corner. I was not a fan of that. You can see how light it is here. And I knew instinctively, you know, I've never done this before. I thought about sharing my kicad experience, but most people don't care for that, like my computer editing skills. So I'm just going to leave this as an overhead view and share with you what I'm working on as the next project. But anyway, so this didn't turn out at all. But this time, I had the brilliant idea. I'm going to set the iron on, leave the iron on it for 1 solid minute, and then I peeled straight up and let the iron slide off, which was working great until here. And you will see it literally left all of that behind, and that was so bad. I was like, oh, mercy, have mercy on me. Well, then I said, okay, I'm going to come back to it. I'll try again later when I've had a little bit of a break. So I took a break, and this time I set this on the board. I set my iron on top. Let me show you my iron. It's a solid steamless iron. So I set this down on top of the board like that, and I placed this iron literally and just set it on there and let it sit for 1 minute. After 1 minute, I was able to, with here it is, with the paper towel, I picked it up and took this and board and all and set it just like this on top of this iron with it upside down and in between my legs, because I wanted to be sure that if I were going to sizzle myself, it would be in the most sensitive area on my body. So I had this between my legs, and I proceeded to pick up the corner and just let gravity peel this away, right? And for the smart people that have already been eyeballing my board, this is the result. I'm gonna put some paper behind it, just force my camera to pay attention. And because I was able to get the mask really good with the Sharpie, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. I mean, it's now time to populate this board and give it a shot and try it. Is it perfect? No. Did I do the silkscreen? Of course not. I will do a silkscreen when it's finished, once I've finished drilling the holes, or maybe right before I drill the holes, depending on, I haven't researched drilling yet. I spent all of my time, if you'll see, I spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attempts at transferring. So I think I actually told people I was on attempt number 4. Maybe I forgot and zoned out and missed a couple of them. But here, in fact, I did take 6 attempts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the successful one. The 6th and successful one was also followed up by a very fine-tipped Sharpie, and that fine-tipped Sharpie was perfect for what I did, I had to fix one little tiny piece up here, which you can't really tell that I did it with a Sharpie. Not really. Maybe you can. It's a little visible, ever so slightly. This end down here did smudge together. It's not focusing. That's why I had the paper. There we go. That was not, it was smudged and connected together on the template. If you see on the template here, which you can is blurry, my apologies. See how it's smudged? Well, what I did was I took my pocket knife and cleaned it up, and that made it much more sharp. Now, of course, I could have done better on this end. I could nitpick this board all day, but I'm not going to. It is, in fact, ready to drill. What this is going to be is a spectrum analyzer for any of those still wondering what it is. There will be 10 LEDs to here and 10 more LEDs to here. They will be laid over on their side. Of course, they're going on this side and laying over, so only the leads will stick through. But this is LED 1 through LED 20. And it's powered by two LM3915s, and that's the 3915 default circuit, but I have added a bandpass circuit and a microphone preamp circuit that I've used successfully for this same circuit, which is one that I've already built with my tiny angry shrunken strawberry stick in it. This is a working meter. In fact, let me make sure I got some. I'll bring my voltage power supply into being, into life. And it doesn't need 9 volts, but it's set up for 9 volts. So if we look over here, I can talk into it. Bounce, bounce, bounce. See that bouncing? But anyway, I'm holding it wonky, so it's like shorting it out. I don't know what I'm doing there, but anyway, so basically this was a meter that I didn't care for. It wasn't ever perfect, and I was not satisfied with my through-hole abilities, and so I've decided to take this and improve it. The preamp works. This circuit didn't work. I'm using a working circuit, which is on a breadboard. Where did I put that? I cannot find it. That's okay. But anyway, so forgot to put the little angle. This video was goofy. I'm sorry for those of you who don't like goofy videos, but I do goofy and tech and music and everything else. I just do things. I just enjoy doing things. And like this project here, this was one of those doohickeys that I just enjoy doing. Boop. So this is going to be the next project in line. I wanted to share that. The method that I used to remove the toner transfer the toner from the paper to the board, this was laying the iron on top, just setting on top for a straight minute, and then kind of giving it a tiny press around, taking the iron off, and trying to remove the paper. This was putting the iron on for a solid minute, waiting for a solid minute, taking the iron, flipping it upside down, placing the board on top of the iron to make it hot and make it attractive to the plastic toner, and then peeling away the toner, or rather the clear paper, using the weight of gravity. So that was how I managed to pull that off. And I'm actually satisfied that that's got a green translucent effect, because most people that know me know that I really enjoy green. So in the future, I'm going to populate this board, and there will be quite a few of these. I need to make 16 of them. As you can see, it's a 16 channel spectrum analyzer. So that's all I've got for you. I know it was a little lengthy of a video. I normally don't ramble for this long, but I have not done videos on the DIY. I tend to learn better when I don't have distractions. So in this case, I thought I would share what I have been up to without actually impeding on my learning abilities. And as I learn, so too shall I share that. But this is my very first attempt at etching, like literally first attempt at etching ever. It took me 6 attempts of transferring the toner to be happy with it, which allowed me to figure out a few things along the way and kind of solve some general issues. Like, these boards are similar, but once you put them side by side, I mean, there's mild differences here. Like, yeah, just a little bit. I mean, well, anyway, I'm going to stop rambling before we hit 20 minutes. How about that? So if you want to see any more of these projects, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Again, I don't know what you guys want to know unless you hit that comment button and say, hey, I want to see more of this or that or the other. So if you see something you like, or you want to see more details on something and it gets enough attention, maybe I'll go ahead and cover that. But in the meantime, this is all I've got for you. So thanks for stopping by Dave's DIY.